Hi everyone, myself Shivani Sharma. Today we are going to discuss about the plasma protein. Okay, in last session we were already discussed about the blood and its properties. Blood is what? It is a fluid connective tissue. After the centrifugation we get it to know blood have two main things. The one is plasma and the secondary is your formed elements in which our RBC, WBC and platelets come. Okay. If I talk about the plasma, plasma is a straw colored material which is present in the blood, and they also have some proteins. Okay, in the plasma we have major four proteins: albumin, globulin, fibrinogen and prothrombin. Okay, so what is the amount of plasma proteins in the blood? Okay, let's talk about their composition. We have topic plasma proteins. Okay, if I talk about the composition of plasma protein, it is 6 to 8 gram per 100 ml of blood. Okay, where the plasma protein is formed? Plasma proteins produced in liver. Okay, where it is produced? Plasma protein produced in the liver. Where it is produced? Very important, it is produced in the liver. We have four types of plasma proteins. Albumin, okay, I'm writing its name here. The first we have albumin, globulin, fibrinogen and prothrombin. And the last one we have prothrombin. Okay, how did we know this all components are present in the plasma? Like we did the centrifugation method, then we get it to know the blood have formed elements and the plasma. Similarly, after the process of ultracentrifugation and electrophoresis, we know these components, these proteins are present in the plasma. Every proteins have their different functions. If I talk about the composition, which one have a major composition? So that is your albumin. Albumin is the smallest protein in the plasma and it is the most evident protein, and the weightage of this protein is 55%. So you can know now how much they are in the plasma. And the rest, globulin, fibrinogen and prothrombin, they also have some functions. Let's talk about the globulin. Globulin have three types. We have three types of globulin proteins: alpha, beta and the gamma. Okay, we have three types of globulin protein: alpha, beta and the gamma. Alpha and beta globulin, they are responsible for the transportation of vitamins. They are responsible for the transportation of vitamins. Two types of vitamins are present in the body. The one which is water soluble and the another is the fat soluble vitamins. What is the example of fat soluble vitamins? The vitamin A, D, E, K. These are your fat soluble, and the vitamin B and C, these are the water soluble vitamins. Okay, so these fat soluble vitamins, they are transported in our body or in our blood with the help of the alpha and beta globulin. Let's talk about the gamma globulin. Okay, in the gamma globulin, it is also known as the immunoglobulin. The function of this immunoglobulin in our body, it produced antibodies. It produced what? It produced antibodies in our body which fight against the infection, and this type of immunity is known as the humoral immunity. This type of immunity is known as the humoral immunity. So this immunoglobulin, these are providing the humoral immunity in our body. Okay, let's further talk about the functions of your globulin proteins. Okay, so the first function is immunoglobulin. They are also present in the form of immunoglobulin, and the function is that they produce the antibodies in our body which provides the humoral immunity. Okay, The next we have heme agglutinin. What is heme agglutinin? These are the antigen which is present on the surface of RBC. Let's assume this is your RBC. Okay. On the surface of the RBC, this different type of heme agglutinin antigens are present which provides the specific blood group. You must know about the ABO system. Yes or no? 4 blood group we have. A blood group, B blood group, AB blood group and the O blood group. If suppose this is the A blood group of a person, so the person which have A blood group, so the surface of the RBC contains which type of antigens? The surface of RBC contains the antigen A, and this antigen A produces the antibodies B. Okay. Now let's talk about the B. The B blood group person have B antigen on the surface of RBC which is mixed by this heme agglutinin, and this is responsible for making the different blood group. Okay, and this B blood group produce which type of antibodies? The antibodies A. Okay, and this AB blood group, have both the antigens, antigen A and the antigen B, but they are not producing any type of antibodies. Let's talk about the O blood group. O blood group, they do not have any specific antigen on the surface of RBC, and they are producing antibody A and the antibody B. Okay. The more detail we will discuss in our specific lecture in which I am going to talk about the ABO blood group system. Okay. The next, they have also another function which is the glycoproteins. Glycoproteins are found on the surface of cell membranes. These are nothing. These are the protein which is conjugated with the carbohydrate. Let's talk about the lipoproteins. Lipoproteins are very important. For what? Lipoproteins are responsible for the fat metabolism. What is the function of lipoprotein? They are responsible for the fat metabolism. Okay, different form of lipoproteins we have: the LDL, low density lipoprotein; VLDL, very low density lipoproteins; HDL, high density lipoproteins, and another is your chylomicron. Chylomicrons are what? They are responsible for the transportation of digested fat. Okay, digested fat from our body. Okay, the digested fat from our body, it is carried out by the chylomicron. Okay. The next we have transferrin. It play a very important role. The iron is bind with this transferrin and it is responsible for the transportation of iron in our entire body. Okay, the function of transferrin is what? It bind to the iron and transport the iron in our entire body. Next we have celluloplasmin. This is responsible for the transportation of copper ions in our entire body. Okay. Next we have angiotensinogen. This angiotensinogen, it is converted into the angiotensin. It is converted into the angiotensin, and this angiotensin, it is the one which is actually working and it controls our blood pressure. Okay, the renin-angiotensin system we have now. This angiotensinogen, it got converted into the angiotensin which maintains the blood pressure in our body. Now next we have coagulation factors. Some coagulation factors are present in our globulin. Okay, globulin also contains some coagulation factor which is responsible for the clotting purpose. Okay, the next we have two. The one is your fibrinogen and the prothrombin. This fibrinogen and prothrombin, also known as the coagulation factor, because it plays a very important role in blood clotting. This fibrinogen and prothrombin both are the inactive protein. When there is a mechanism which is going on blood clotting, then they got activate. Okay, because their main function is what? Their main function is coagulation and the clotting. Okay, fibrinogen converted into the fibrin. fibrinogen got converted into the fibrin, which makes a thread-like structure on your wound, which makes us scum and prevents the leakage of blood from our body. Okay, and this fibrinogen, this actually decides the viscosity of blood. You know that your blood have viscosity, na? We have a thick blood, yes. Our blood is viscous in nature, na? The viscosity is present. This viscosity is determined by the fibrinogen, because this fibrinogen contains the fibrillar protein. They contains what? They contains the fibrillar protein. Okay, and the viscosity is determined by the shape and the structure of protein, which is provided by the fibrinogen. Okay, which I am talking about, the albumin. Yes, albumin, it is the major plasma protein. It is the most evident and it is the smallest protein. Okay, the amount of the albumin, is what? It is the 55%, and since it is the smallest protein, okay, but when our kidney works normal and nobody have any kind of damage in the kidney, so this albumin protein, since it is the smallest protein, but still it cannot pass the filtration membrane which is present in our kidney. Okay, but if somebody have a kidney damage, so during that time this albumin protein passes throughout the filtration membrane and cause a disease which is known as the hematuria. Okay, not I'm sorry, this causes the albuminuria. Okay, so this albumin also passes through the filtration membrane of kidney when somebody have a kidney damage. Okay, and this condition is known as the albuminuria. Okay, and also when somebody have a albuminuria is condition, what is albuminuria? The albuminuria means the presence of albumin protein, in the urine. Okay, the presence of what? The presence of albumin protein in the urine. Okay, and this albumin protein, it also maintains the osmotic, or you can say that oncotic pressure in our blood. It maintains what? It maintains the osmotic or the oncotic pressure in our blood. Okay, and it also provides the viscosity. Okay, so the one condition which happens during the time of kidney damage, which is the albuminuria, that is the presence of albumin protein in the urea. How this albumin protein maintains the osmotic balance or the oncotic pressure in our blood? Okay, in our blood vessels. So see here, suppose there is a force pressure which is exerted on our blood vessels, and this force pressure combinedly known as the Starling force. This force pressure combinedly known as the Starling force. Okay, suppose this is the artery, and here we have vein. Okay, here we have suppose vein. Okay, arteries and veins both are merged by what? They are both are merged by the capillaries. Okay, and capillaries are also found near the tissue. Okay, suppose here the interstitial fluid is present. Okay, the fluid which is present between the tissue. Okay, suppose this is the interstitial fluid. Okay, so albumin protein maintains what? Albumin protein maintains the osmotic or oncotic pressure in our blood vessels. Okay, so there is a pressure which is created in our blood, which is a Starling force, and Starling force, it is a force which is exerted by the 4 type of force. Okay, and what are these 4 type of force? We have hydrostatic, capillary force, then we have osmotic or you can say that the oncotic osmotic capillaries force. The next we have interstitial fluid hydrostatic pressure, and the next we have interstitial fluid osmotic pressure. Okay, now the Starling force, these four forces combinedly known as the Starling forces, and in Starling force is exerted on our blood vessels, which maintains the osmotic pressure in our blood. Okay, let's talk about the capillaries. Capillaries have what? Inside the capillaries, obviously water, plasma, and plasma proteins are present. Plasma proteins and present. In interstitial fluid, what is present? Like urea, waste, sugars, these molecules, etc., are present. Okay, so the first we have hydrostatic capillaries pressure. So by the name you are able to understand, hydrostatic means the water pressure. Okay, so hydrostatic pressure, it is the pressure which is responsible for the filtration. Okay, when the hydrostatic capillary force is exerted on the capillaries, they help in the filtration. Okay, they help in what? They help in the filtration. So the fluid which is present in the capillaries, by the exerting of hydrostatic capillaries pressure, it comes into the interstitial fluid region. Okay, next, if the osmotic capillaries pressure is exerted, if this capillaries exerted the osmotic pressure, or you can say that the capillaries osmotic pressure. Okay, the capillaries osmotic pressure is exerted by the help of albumin protein. Okay, what this albumin protein do? They pulls the interstitial fluid. They pulls the interstitial fluid inside the capillaries, which maintains the blood fluid volume. Which maintains what? Which maintains the blood fluid volume. Next, this interstitial fluid hydrostatic pressure. Next, again, this interstitial hydrostatic pressure, they pulls the water in the interstitial fluid region. Okay, and this interstitial fluid osmotic pressure, they exerted the force inside the capillaries. Okay, got it? These are the Starling force which is exerted on the blood vessels. Okay, so main pressure is maintained by the albumin, which maintains the blood fluid volume. Okay, if somebody have a kidney damage issue, or they have some problem in liver, okay, because liver produced what? Liver produced this plasma proteins, and this is the major protein. If somebody have any disorder in the liver, so they do not have a formation of liver proteins in their body. Okay, or if they have a kidney damage issue, so this albumin protein comes in the urine, yes or no, and the cause a disease which is known as the albuminuria, yes or no, and because of the albuminuria condition, they have a condition in this body which is known as the hypoalbuminemia, which is the hypoalbuminemia. Hypo means low amount of the albumin protein. Since this albumin protein maintains the blood fluid volume, if they do not have a albumin protein, so who is here maintaining the blood fluid volume? Then all the fluid they accumulated into the interstitial fluid region. Then all the fluid accumulated where? They accumulated into this region, which result in the edema. Edema means swelling. Edema means what? Edema means swelling. That's why there is a symptoms of the kidney damage patient. Those who have kidney damage issue, so you easily notice their symptoms. They have a swelling on their face. They have swelling on the feet. Why? Because albumin protein is not present. That's why all the water, all the interstitial fluid is accumulated in the interstitial region, which result to the edema. Okay, so this is the main function of the albumin protein, and it help in the maintaining the blood fluid volume. Okay, and the net pressure of this is Starling force. The net pressure of this is Starling force, or you can say that the osmotic pressure, which is 25 mm of mercury. Okay, the net pressure is of your osmotic pressure is 25 mm of mercury. Okay. The next, what is the functions of your albumin proteins? They also maintains the oncotic pressure, or you can say that the osmotic pressure, which is around your 25 mm of mercury. It provides the immunity. Yes or no? The gamma globulin, they are providing what? They are providing the immunity, immunoglobulin, which provides the humoral immunity. It helps in the coagulation of blood, because some of the proteins, they are also found in the globulin, which is responsible for the coagulation. Okay. The next, it provides the viscosity of blood, which gives the blood viscous nature, and it also acts as a buffer. Since it acts as a buffer, so here it also maintains the pH level of your blood. And you know that what is the pH of blood? The pH of blood is slightly alkaline, and it also helps in the metabolism, because it is responsible for the transportations of your LDL type of fats, the VLDL type of fats. Yes or no? And the chylomicron, which is play a very important role for the transportation of the digested fat through your intestine. Okay, that's it for the today. In the next session, we will going to discuss about the mechanism of coagulation. Okay, that's it for the today. Thank you so much.